You walk into a cafe on Saint Viateur, step up to the counter, and order a coffee in French. Before you even finish your sentence, the barista will smile, hand you the cup, and ask if you want room for milk, in perfect English. This is the Montreal language switch. It is a hyper-efficient bilingual reflex that happens dozens of times a day across the city, often ending the interaction in under 4 seconds. The trigger for this switch is specific, using precise textbook French grammar combined with the clean, mounded vowels of a Parisian accent. That phonetic phrasing acts as a beacon. Even to a barista who has never left Quebec, those clean textbook vowels signal that you are likely a visitor. Montrealers switch because they are trying to be helpful and efficient. For a language learner, however, this polite reflex neutralizes the opportunity to practice. The impact of this wall depends on your intended length of stay. Short-term tourists often view the English switch as a convenient feature, guaranteeing fast service without any linguistic friction. For immersion learners and expats, that same switch becomes a barrier to local integration. The math adds up quickly. Over a single month, ordering coffee, buying groceries, and talking to cashiers yields between 30 and 120 micro-service interactions. Each interaction is a repetition opportunity. When the conversation shifts to English, that opportunity is gone. Keeping the conversation in French does not require total fluency. It requires a specific phonetic framing to bypass the barista's trigger reflex. This flowchart maps the failure path. Input a textbook phrase with Parisian vowels, and your sentence hits a block, routing you to English. But input a localized phrase, and you step-step the trigger node, keeping the interaction in French. Giving your sentences a Quebecois shape ensures the switch never feels necessary, allowing the conversation to proceed in French without needing to hide your origins. We can evaluate which language adjustments actually keep you in the French track by looking at their return on investment. On this chart, the x-axis represents the effort required to learn a skill, and the y-axis represents how effectively that skill stops the English switch at the café counter. Attempting to perfectly mimic complex Quebecois vowel shifts lands in the bottom right quadrant. Mastering a native accent is a massive, multi-year undertaking. Doing it poorly yields zero immediate results during a brief service interaction. Using standard classroom phrases like je voudrais or the formal vous often has a negative impact. While grammatically correct, these phrases identify you as a non-local, which prompts the barista to switch languages to be helpful. Reaching the high ROI zone requires unlearning the rigid classroom conditioning common in many French programs. In a Montreal service interaction, textbook French frequently serves as a liability rather than an asset. The highest leverage moment occurs in the first second of the interaction, triggered by the greeting bonjour hi. This greeting is a code-neutral invitation. The service worker is offering you a choice between language tracks. Replying with hi or pausing to think of a response locks the rest of the transaction into English. The most effective input is an instant, flat Québécois bonjour. Keep the second syllable short and clipped. This choice locks in the French track, though it requires following through with confidence. Any subsequent hesitation still risks triggering the switch. In this city, the language of your very first word carries more weight than your overall grammatical accuracy. Once you pass the greeting, 2 low-effort vocabulary swaps will help secure the rest of the interaction. Returning to the chart, discard standard European structures in favor of local verbs. Drop je voudrais entirely. Instead, use je vais prendre, literally, I am going to take. This phrasing matches the local casual register, allowing you to blend into the natural rhythm of the neighborhood. The most significant impact comes from using the discourse particle la. Simply attach this filler word to the end of a casual sentence, such as asking for coffee avec du lait là. This single word signals cultural awareness, making it much less likely the barista will route you to English. Deploying la may feel unnatural at first. It often triggers a sense of imposter syndrome until it becomes an automatic reflex. These micro-adjustments provide immediate practical utility in holding the French track, bypassing the filters that textbook grammar often triggers. You can deploy a simple protocol to prepare for your next café visit. This protocol focuses on 3 behavioral adjustments. Lead with a flat bonjour, order using prendre, and use la to soften the sentence. If you are visiting Old Montreal for a few days, accept the English switch and enjoy the efficiency of the city. If you are living in the Plateau, Mile End, or Saint Henri, apply this protocol to protect your daily practice opportunities. Closing the gap between the classroom and the street requires treating language as a strategic behavioral adaptation. Training this adaptation safely requires inputs designed for local reality. The Street Tongue app's Montreal module is designed to overwrite textbook habits with street-level phrasing. The module provides scored pronunciation feedback, allowing you to drill local constructions like tatsu and la in private. Practicing here builds the necessary muscle memory. By the time you reach the counter at Café Olympico, the words sound natural and the English switch is avoided. Has a local dialect ever completely thrown off the language you learned in school? Share your experience in the comments. We will continue searching for the most efficient frameworks to navigate complex systems. See you in the next one.